Today on Henry's Film Corner, we join IFC in celebrating Punk Month with our special guest, Rob Zombie, who's on hand to discuss his new film, The Devil's Rejects. I'll also be recommending a couple of films I deem worthy of punk status, and the wonderful Heidi May is on hand to help me review our July release, Hustle and Flow, produced by John Singleton. It's going to be a great show, folks. Stick around. Somewhere in the late 70s, rock music had become a boring, slow-moving dinosaur relegated to noisy arenas and stadiums. Something had to happen, and thankfully, it did. Punk rock, motherfucker. In direct retaliation against the disco-fied, still-breathing corpse of 70s rock, while Ted Nugent was adjusting his loincloth, came bands like the New York Dolls, Suicide, the Ramones, the Damned, the Ruts, the Adverts, and all of a sudden, rock music was raw and exciting and essential. And with great fury and an overabundance of passionate enthusiasm and charisma making up for the often glaring lack of musical talent, people with something to say put on guitars, plugged in, and got fucking busy. And it's a good thing, too, because there's a lot of young people like myself who are really fucking mad about everything, and we needed to hear music that talked about our generation. We wanted music that filled our parents with fear and put the Secret Service on full alert. I went from watching Jimmy Page from a city block away to getting sweated on by HR the Bad Brains in front of a stage with no barricade. We lived for the shows. We collected the flyers. We put the bands up in our small rooms when they came through town. We started bands and fanzines and record labels. We realized that this music was going to be part of our lives forever. And that's how some of us were able to survive our teen years, with the mark of punk rock indelibly engraved in our minds. And from my standpoint, as far as music is concerned, either you mean it and go all the way, or you get the fuck out of here. My guest today is writer, director, multi-platinum recording artist, Rob Zombie, who this month brings us The Devil's Rejects, the follow-up to his hugely successful directorial debut, House of a Thousand Corpses. Rob, it's great to have you on the show.
Good to be here.
Right on. I wanted to ask you, before we get into Devil's Rejects, about the feeling of satisfaction you got from getting House of a Thousand Corpses over the wall without sacrificing any of the integrity of the film.
I mean, nothing could be more satisfying because at all times, I mean, it started off as a good project that seemed fine, no problems, but once I hit the wall of being dropped by one studio, being dropped by another studio, I mean, it's dead in the water. So to finally somehow take a move, I mean, and everyone, you know how things are. Everyone's so happy to see you fail. But we just decided that, you know, we couldn't give up on it. We kept shopping around till one day Lionsgate came to the rescue, and nothing could be better.
Well, this time around with The Devil's Rejects, which is a harder core script, harder core violence, and probably would be a harder film to get over the wall on the face of it than House of a Thousand Corpses. Tell some stories about like some of the meetings or any difficulty you had this time around.
The good thing about Lionsgate, I mean, I can't say enough good things about them. They're so artist-friendly, which is, you know, a term that doesn't even exist anymore. No one's artist-friendly. I had a meeting with them. It was the first time they read it. We had our go-around, and their basic comments were like, well, there's this one thing, forget it. Just do it. So they had no script comments.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. They don't ever get involved in casting. I can say, well, I'm casting this person. That. They're like, hey, great. They don't get involved. They don't get in your way ever, and you keep waiting for, like, something to happen. So then I'm on set, shooting. They'll come down, they'll take a look, they go, looks great. And then they leave. So I'm like, okay, maybe in editing is where it all comes down. So we're editing month after month. No one's ever comes by the editing room. We're done. And they go, okay, we want to have a test screening. I go, okay, this is where all the hell is going to come down on me once we do the test screening. So we do the test screening. It goes great. After the end, they're like, oh my God, this movie scored so much higher than we ever imagined. It's insane. I go, well, what do we have to change? Do I have to change anything? They go, don't change a frame. We're done.
That's what every director, it seems to me, would want to hear. Nothing. Give me some money and get out of my way and let me realize my vision.
I couldn't ask for anything more perfect. It was sick.
In The Devil's Rejects, the level of violence is unbelievable. There's all kinds of violence in movies. There's like the Lethal Weapon 3 violence. Like, I bet he died in that one. But in your movie, it's like, wow, that's taken a long time for this guy to die. It sure looks painful.
You know, the whole point of the movie is not to be violent, but when it was violent, I wanted to make it really violent.
You got an R rating.
Yeah, which is
Devil's
unbelievable.
Rejects, that's a heavy,
R
film.
Yeah, I wanted to make the violence meaningful in the sense that you care about the guy who's going to die, and you watch it happen until you're just like sickened, like you're watching a snuff movie. And that's where I get, you know, it became difficult because it wasn't so, like I literally, and then there was sort of a sexual overtone to some of the violence in one scene in particular that's just a nightmare with the MPA. Because I literally, like, you could go, well, what about where the guy gets shot in the face? And they'd be like, well, we're okay with that.
Right.
But I think we see some titties, you know? And then the trouble begins. So it's sort of the mixture of both. Any kind of sexual violence crossovers was a nightmare.
Do you feel any kind of fear for the future of things you want to do in the future, or the way America is going, where maybe a film like The Devil's Rejects can be made in 2005, but can it be made in 2007 or 8? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally think that's a real problem. Watch films from the 70s, say, that are very violent, and people just said, okay, that's Taxi Driver, that's The Godfather.
They're cruising. Yeah. Could you make that now with that production value and get it green-lighted?
No. No way. I mean, it would probably end up being an NC-17 sort of like art house movie. Right. But it would never be this Al Pacino big budget thing. And I think that's what's happening. And you know, the worst thing that just happened recently in a funny sort of way is that PG-13 movies outgross R-rated movies. So now the thing is like make everything PG-13. You know, that's why every horror movie coming out is now PG-13. And it's the constant watering down of everything to reach because we can make more money this way. So like, let's, you know, boy, if only The Exorcist was rated G, we could have made even more money. It's like, let's start making porno movies. I mean, let's not have any sex or nudity in them.
Right.
But we'll make family-friendly porno. It's kind of like becomes like, well, what are we talking about?
Have you noticed there's nothing for us? We're not being marketed to. There's no one saying like, hey, 40-year-old guy,
You're
here's
still
your
okay.
thing. You know, or here's something that's almost for you, but you have to peroxide out your hair and dress like your son to hang.
It seems like if you're 25, you're over the hill, like the way movies are made now.
Yeah.
And you look at certain movies and older movies and like, think of like even like Jaws, you know, which is huge summer blockbuster, the most commercial thing at that time. Invented the book on a commercial movie. But look at the casting. Who would be playing Quint now? You know, Orlando Bloom. Right.
Yeah, they would have made it in a boardroom instead of going to casting and going, okay, you know, they would have made it an equation.
Right.
Like they would have made it in the corporate laboratory.
We can't make movies for adults, basically, anymore. You have to make silly, mindless crap for kids. I know I could make more money doing nicer movies or nicer. I mean, that's been the thing all along. Sure. But cool comes with a pay cut. And you just make that choice.
Oh, believe me, I know. Well, good luck with The Devil's Rejects, you know, a brutal film. But we live in a brutal age and we live in a brutal country,
yes,
so I'm sure it'll be just fine. Right?
Hey, I think it's a film for now.
Yeah.
For the kids.
Well, right on, man. Thanks for being on the show. Right on.
Right on.
And next up, a candid conversation between two punk legends as we continue to celebrate Punk Month here on IFC.
Hello, John.
Yes, Steve.
What do you miss about the punk era?
There's something that you miss about not being the bad guy, being able to piss people off just by what you represent. What about you, Steve? You miss anything from the old days?
I don't know. I kind of found all that kind of exciting.
Yeah.
That we was getting so much attention
Yeah.
from, like, you know, the government, which is bizarre, you know what I mean? You know, when God Save the Queen was #1,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have it as #1. They put Rod Stewart there.
Right.
And when has that ever happened?
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's a statement right there that something's...
They're scared.
You've got something screwing in the wheel there, you know?
Yeah. So you know, the government hates you, the police are not your friend, how much, like, self-realization? I mean, how much did everybody realize, like, you know what, I'm part of something that people are going to remember? Was there a moment when that was, like, really apparent? Was there, you know?
Yeah. The one thing that stood out was when we was playing on the boat on the River Thames.
Yeah, yeah.
When it was the Queen's birthday. We rented a boat and we're playing on that, and we're playing God Save the Queen as we go past the Houses of Parliament. And the cops didn't like that, so they
Can't imagine why.
they pulled the boat over and they arrested McLaren. They arrested a bunch of us. I snuck out because I was slippery like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and but that was, you know, that was apparent. We really weren't doing anything wrong. Legally, we weren't doing anything wrong.
Right.
We rented a boat, we're playing music on a boat, you know.
Yeah.
But obviously we were doing it to rile things up.
Defining moment for X or LA punk rock was we were in the basement of a Hollywood shithole with a porno theater above us, and there were, you know, 500 kids going fucking nuts. And someone had just torn the toilet out, and there was, like, you know, 6 inches of water all across the bathroom and stuff. And you knew that you were part of this bohemian movement. But punk is so underground and sneaky and, you know, subversive that I think what happened is it went, like, deep into people's, like, psyche. And then it started coming up with, you know, bands like Green Day and bands, you know, that are, like, super popular now. And it's because people are still pissed off. It's like, that's what punk rock's all about.
Well, there's always going to be pissed off teenagers, hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Well, there's that moment where you realize things are not fair.
It's because you're finding out who you are. You know, you're starting to get muscles, you know, and there's weird shit that happens to you when you're a teenager, and you don't know how to vent that other than, you know, smash things up. And music's a good form to release that, if you're lucky enough to have a little bit of talent to play a few chords or
Well,
hit
that's
some
the
drums.
beauty of it. It's all primal.
Yeah, that's the difference between punk and, like, bands like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, who went to music school and studied in Daddy's house bedroom for like 10 years on his fucking organ or whatever he was playing. And that's the difference between punk, where you, okay, here you go and do it now.
Right.
And figure it out.
Which is doing and not thinking, yeah. I like punk rock.
2 thumbs up for punk rock. I missed you.
I missed you too.
It's been wonderful.
It's been wonderful.
Doing this.
Let's come back to the rainbow again and have
The
hamburgers.
smell of beer and semen, yes.
Back to you, Henry.
And now my dear pal Heidi is here with me in the studio to help me review a film. Heidi, it's nice to see you as always.
Hello.
You and I just had a wonderful weekend in New York, a wonderful excursion into the 212 area code. And I noticed since we've come back that you've been ignoring me. So,
Henry.
what's up with that?
Because you were terrible in New York. You got off the plane and you were unruly and complaining and bitching right away. I told you, I'm going shopping. You got to get out, get in a cab because you're not coming with me because you bitch and complain every time you do something with me. And no, I want to watch you shop. It's funny. It's fun. I go into a couple stores. You stand outside complaining.
Didn't
and
complain?
I come
How
out.
would you know? You're inside
I
the
come
store
out and you're
looking
talking,
at $90 pants. Here's a
come-
pair of jeans, $150,000.
No, I didn't. I wasn't looking at pants, by the way. I was
Carly
looking,
Simon once
no,
touched it.
And I come outside, and you're talking to some guy, and you look at me like a crazy man and said, "I'm going to beat someone's head in." I'm like, "Get out of here!" Then get in the cab
His
and
village
get out.
enervates me.
You know what? Then I said, "Go home." Why do you have to come with me and threaten to beat people's heads in?
I
Hello.
left.
Hi, I'm Henry. I'm 18. I want to beat everyone's head in.
I brought John Waters over to meet you.
That was the highlight. That was the only good thing you did
he
while we
t-
were
he
in New
talked
York.
sexy porn talk to you.
I said, go get John Waters, please, because he, I love him.
And I did what I
and
was
you
told.
Did.
I brought him
That was
over.
the one redeeming thing you did the whole
And he
time.
talked to you about things.
Weird things. But you know what? I love him. He's sweet, he's beautiful, he's kind, he's funny, and that's the one good thing you did. Everything else, you were terrible, you sucked, you get an F. F. That's your grade for the New York trip. F. Fail.
I like it when you are agitated.
Movie time.
Okay.
Movie time.
The film Heidi and I are going to review is called Hustle and Flow.
It's like all my days, I've been hearing this beat in my head, man. Like pounding, but then sometimes, man, it get real soft. Man, it's like I can't be stopped.
If you were anywhere near the Sundance Film Festival this year, you will have heard plenty of hype about Hustle and Flow, this year's Audience Award winner. Hustle and Flow stars Terrence Howard as DJ, a hardworking pimp in the South who's barely managing to make ends meet. DJ spends most of his days philosophizing about life in his beat-up Chevy while pimping his primary source of income, a runaway prostitute named Nola, played by Taryn Manning.
You know what this means?
What?
It means we in charge.
Struggling to put food on the table and entering his version of a midlife crisis, DJ revisits repressed dreams of becoming a respected rapper. After bumping into an old high school buddy who knows a thing or two about recording music, DJ realizes he may still have a chance to get out of the ghetto.
Look, this track here, man, this is my heart, man.
Tapping into his everyday struggles, DJ jots down a few meaningful verses and with the help of his friends is able to construct a worthy demo.
Go! I'm gonna make these suckers recognize I ain't playing ho. If you violate off the top, trick, you gotta go. Woo!
The hope is to deliver the finished product to Skinny Black, a hometown boy turned rap mogul played by Ludacris. With a small taste of hope, this eclectic group of underachievers began to believe in themselves for the first time.
A whole lot of bitches jumping shit.
Push that shit out. Come on.
You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and gas money spent will cause a whole lot of bitches jumping shit.
While the premise of Hustle and Flow is nothing new, it's clear that filmmaker Craig Brewer's focus was building solid characters through realistic dialogue while avoiding cliché storytelling. John Singleton came on board to produce this film, perhaps seeing an opportunity to return to his Boys in the Hood caliber of early filmmaking. Hustle and Flow is one of the largest acquisitions in Sundance history, and with the MTV marketing machine pitching in, this film will likely get a wider release this month. So, Heidi, what did you think of the film?
I thought it was great. This is the year that everyone's going to hear about Terrence Howard. I think this is his year. This is his movie. He's brilliant. Hustle and Flow has everything I need in a movie. It has heartbreak, humor, redemption. It has great acting, a great story. I loved it. I think it's great. What'd you think?
I didn't know what to expect when we walked in.
I didn't either.
With the MTV hype around it, I just expected really beautiful people saying lines. This film, I walked out there going like, wow, shut my mouth. I should not, judge anything until I really see it for myself.
Exactly.
And it's nice to see John Singleton kind of return to form with Hustle and Flow. I know what I like in a film, and I know that I like really heavyweight, gutsy acting. And this film has
This is it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know who blew my mind was Taraji Henson. She played Shug, the pregnant girl.
Incredible.
She broke my heart. She was like the broken little sparrow, and she played it perfectly. There was twice where I got teared up from her. She moved me. She moved me, and I like the whole story. Has a lot of heart. There's redemption. He's a pimp, but he's not a bad guy. He's good to the girls. They're this struggling little family,
unit.
just living in poverty, but everyone has a dream.
There's a lot of frustration there that was portrayed. He's not a dumb guy. He's not a bad guy. Yet here's his lot in life. And in America, a good guy with a head on his shoulders should be able to get somewhere. And look what he's got to do to get somewhere. And I think that reality in Hustle and Flow mirrors a lot of problems we have in this country. There's a lot of people who want an opportunity, and it's not there for them. And there's a lot of frustration there. And I think this film addresses that. So, Heidi, would you recommend the film?
Definitely. And I think anybody that wants to be an actor needs to go check out this movie and see how it's done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tremendous acting performances from every single person in the film.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I would recommend the film. Absolutely. Director Craig Brewer, he wrote and directed the film. He did an amazing job. I'll definitely be looking to see what his next project's going to be. He has me very interested. I think everyone should definitely go check out Hustle and Flow.
Me too.
It's Punk Month here at IFC, and we're celebrating some of the most important films in punk history. Many movies have tried to capture the spirit of punk, but none more creatively than those behind the 1980 British classic, Rude Boy. Rude Boy is a mixture of semi-scripted drama, social documentary, and concert footage featuring The Clash.
All across the town, all across the night, everybody's driving with full headlights.
The script is centered on a fictional fan referred to as Rude Boy, played by relative no-name Ray Gange.
Okay, I'll go and cash it.
I'll wait for you out here then, love. Okay?
Don't call me love.
Why not?
'Cause I don't believe in it.
His story is that of many British citizens in 1978, economic hardship and overall doubt. The country's mood is one of disillusion and political failure as race riots dominate the streets and an increasing number of unemployed, aimless youth see little or no chance at a solid future.
I don't know. I can't think what to do with myself, you know. I'd like to get a job that I'm really interested in, then I can really work, you know. I wouldn't mind a job with you lot.
How can I offer you a job? What are you going to do?
Rude Boy follows Ray over a 2-year period as he quits his dead-end job at a sex shop and manages to become a roadie for his favorite band, The Clash.
We need someone to help me and Baker doing the roadieing. Are you interested?
Yeah.
His narrative is weaved with compelling documentary footage capturing Britain in the midst of cultural change. But make no mistake about it, Ray's story is simply the backdrop to capture the importance of one of the most influential bands of all time. Aggressive, intelligent, and always political, The Clash brought a general social consciousness to punk rock. Their name said it all. They were the fly in the ointment, expressing their views with a radical sound that drove audiences into an absolute frenzy. Rude Boy captures The Clash in their prime with extraordinary footage from their Clash on Patrol tour and a legendary performance from the Rock Against Racism Festival. The Clash are easily one of the greatest bands to ever take the stage, and Rude Boy makes it easy to see their genius as both artists and activists. The Clash would go on to sell millions of albums, and their sound would broaden well beyond punk rock, but they never sold out. At no time do they compromise their integrity or make a bad record. In considering punk rock or the history of music in general, you simply cannot avoid the importance of The Clash, and Rude Boy is a perfect reminder of why they will always be remembered as the only band that matters. If you have a great punk story, or if you just want to release some aggression, bring it on. You can find me at www.ifctv.com. We look forward to hearing from you. We're almost out of time, but before I go, there's 2 documentaries that I insist you check out this month. The first is The Decline of Western Civilization, one of the most important documentaries to capture the heart of the punk movement. Directed by Penelope Spheris, this film focuses on the rise of the Los Angeles punk scene in particular, with very rare footage of bands like the Alice Bag Band, Catholic Discipline, the Circle Jerks, the Germs, Black Flag, and many others. This film is not an easy find, but check out declinemovies.com. The second film is the DVD release of The Agronomist, the incredible story of Haitian journalist and human rights activist Jean Dominique. Dominique owned and operated the nation's oldest and only free radio station, where he fought tirelessly against his country's tyranny from corrupt political regimes and overwhelming poverty. Following Dominique's shocking and still unsolved assassination in 2000, director Jonathan Demme was moved to assemble more than a decade's worth of material into a celebration of this dynamic man and his legacy. These are 2 excellent documentaries that you should really see. And as always, thanks for watching, and please join us next month when our very special guest will be Billy Bob Thornton. We'll see you then.